for the kit alone, because I mean it's pornographic. It's just so beautiful.
Welcome to 442's group stage preview of the 2018 World Cup. We've already been through Group A and Group B. If you've missed it, catch up. But while you're here, you might as well watch Group C, which is France, Australia, Peru and Denmark. Do France have the best squad at the World Cup?
Certainly not far off. I mean, Germany might argue that one, I think. But yeah, France have got a hell of a lot of ability in that squad. It's just, can they play as a team? That's been the big concern in qualifying. They weren't entirely convincing in qualifying. But when you look at the attacking options they've got, Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, etc., if they can get that together, they can win the World Cup. You can't say that, you can't argue against that. It's just a case of, can they? I mean, we've seen this so many times at tournaments with France. Will they be united, or will it just all disintegrate?
Oh, it'll be hilarious in the fashion of South Africa 2010.
Teams that win a World Cup, particularly recently, tend to be formed from one domestic team, in particular Bayern Munich for Germany, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Spain. France don't have that because PSG is so strong, but PSG are a galaxy of stars from around the world. So there is no, sort of team or domestic camaraderie. Perhaps they know each other's game inside out. So it is very much a team of individuals, albeit very talented individuals.
Maybe going all the way might be just beyond them. But that's not to downplay just how exciting they are to watch. They're one of the most exciting teams at the World Cup, and I think in regards to this group, they should win it comfortably.
If you've got such a good squad, such a deep squad, and no screamingly obvious first 11, is it all then on the manager? Because Deschamps hasn't always been the most popular manager amongst the players and amongst the press. Is it about picking the right 11 and then the right 3 substitutes?
To an extent. I mean, he proved at Euro 2016 that he's not afraid to make the big call. He dropped Griezmann for one game, the poster boy of the tournament. So he isn't afraid of his big names, and if you're not performing, then he will make changes.
And the big thing will be for France is the midfield. We know all the attacking options they've got. If they can create chances, they will score goals. It's can they get that midfield functioning in a way that gets the team moving forward and creates those chances. They've got Kante there who will break things up. Is Pogba capable of being the man to drive them forward? We've seen him not quite do it at Man United consistently this year. We all suspect that probably he is capable of it at some point. Is this going to be the time, or is it going to be another of these frustrating tournaments for him, like the Euros, where he's not quite at his best, and as a result France don't quite reach their full potential because of that? The
rest of the group, it looks at first glance like Denmark are the second favourites. Would you agree with that?
I think so. They've got Christian Eriksen, who scored 11 goals in qualifying, including a hat-trick in a kind of vital playoff. In the last 2 years, he's really stepped up as kind of a world-class player. For Spurs, everything creative goes through him, and it's the same for Denmark as well. Denmark come up against France last in the group, and if Denmark can win their first 2 games, they go into that last game against France with a shot at topping the group, and that's a big motivator, because if you win that group, you potentially avoid Argentina in the next group, and that's a big carrot to be aiming for.
The one thing I'd say in this group is watch out for Peru, because any team that can knock out Chile in qualifying, Chile won the last 2 Copa Americas, they must have something about them that gives them. We see so often at World Cup South American teams, even the supposedly lesser South American teams, do better than is expected. Colombia, for example, at the last World Cup. So I think Peru are very capable of getting through this group. I mean, Denmark probably still be just about favourites, but I don't think this is a great Denmark team. So I think it's very possible that Peru could still get through ahead of Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark seem to be wavering between a back 3 and a back 4, and you can tell. It's often telling whether a press in a local country, a national country, thinks that the manager is wavering, or he is able to use both systems, and the Danish press appear to think that he's wavering. It's not the ability to play both systems and switch between them. he doesn't know what his best team is.
Well, I think as well, I mean, obviously we talked about Eriksen, who's an obvious star in the team, but beyond that, there aren't that many great Danish players in there at the moment. I think we've certainly seen this. This is certainly nothing like the squad that they had in the 80s and 90s. So they didn't entirely convince in qualifying. So yeah, I still think there might be a risk of them not getting through.
Peru haven't qualified for the World Cup since 1982. Surely they're going to be everybody's second favourite team, whoever your first favourite.
Well, for the kit alone, because I mean, it's pornographic. It's just so beautiful. They're quite unpredictable, you know. Andre Carrillo, their kind of wide man from Watford, pretty much sums up their sort of attacking talent, really. Very talented, but also very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get.
Australia, 22 games in qualification, 1 million miles on the plains.
Yeah.
Physical side, they've often let leads slip in big games. I'm not getting a great feeling about Australia. Anybody?
Well, I mean, again, I think in terms of the quality of the squad, it's not what it was a few years ago. What people say about them is that they've got a little bit more strength in depth now, that if one or two players get injured, I think apparently that was the problem at the last World Cup. Once one or two got injured, they didn't have anything behind that. They seem to think that they've got a little bit more behind that now, but whether that first 11 has still got quite enough quality to get through.
Yeah, they'll be relying on Aaron Moy maybe to be providing the creative impetus from midfield.
Pasty Pirlo.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they're a functional team, a physical team. You probably a horrible team to play against.
Well, they're France's first opponents.
Yeah. So they could give a few players a bloody nose, quite literally. But
we're not expecting them to get through.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
France and Denmark to go through them. France in top.
You would imagine so.
Well,
Watch out for Peru.
Well, we have to come to a majority decision, so I'm afraid it's not Peru, although we'll all enjoy watching them, I'm sure.
But you'll probably be right.
If only for the pornographic kit. So that is Group C, which we have as France going through in top position, Denmark going through. Feel free to argue. Be nice about it, but feel free to argue. Discuss it with us below in the comments below this video. You know what to do. Join us next time for Group D.